Hey, what's happening? This is Dave. I'm the tech with the North American Dogman project. Recently, I've gotten tons of emails from our own members. We've got about 205 members now, as well as other folks asking about equipment. So for 12 years, I've been a paranormal researcher, so I've gotten the basic equipment that paranormal guys get, the infrared cams, the full spectrum cams, all the audio equipment, and all the little light gadgets and EMF detectors and all that. So now that I've moved on to the cryptid field with Jody Cook, I use some of that stuff, but then of course I got some more. And most of this stuff, what's really cool, most of this stuff is basically on a budget too, because a lot of this new technology is really expensive. So I think I can help out with that as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start out with the video that we use. We do have some HD cams that we carry during the day. Also, this camera here, this is a GoPro. This is a GoPro Hero 3. I've seen these cameras now on Amazon for like 60 bucks. When they came out, they were like 300. And I spent 100 on that. I got it from a friend. And I also use that with the drone. I found a good deal on a drone. So luckily that fits the gimbal on the bottom of the drone, and I can take 1080p 30 frames per second footage with that from the air, which is really nice. I got some examples for you here of the GoPro. Also, what's great about this, you can mount it to a car, as you'll see in some of these examples. I'm going to put up examples for all this stuff. I've got some footage from the top of a car, helmet cam. What's great about using a helmet cam is it's right with your eyes, so everything that you see, this documents, which is perfect. So the GoPro, I mean, you can get GoPro knockoffs. I think Jody got 4 of them for maybe 30 bucks a piece. They're not GoPros, but they're the knockoffs, and they pretty much do the same thing. It's 1080p, 30 frames per second. This also has Wi-Fi, as well as it's an 11 megapixel camera. The photo burst, you can get 10 photos in a single second. Not that you would use that. I mean, I just use it for video strictly. The 1080p, it's so crisp and clear. So if you see any cryptids running in front of you, you're gonna definitely have it in high def. It's gonna be pretty awesome. This is a full spectrum video camera. It's an inexpensive one that has been modified. It's HD, and it is it's a 720p 16 megahertz or 16 megapixel. It's pretty awesome. You can use this both with infrared lighting as well as full spectrum lighting and UV lighting. In this case, I mean, you can record with this during the day, but it makes everything look a little pinkish, obviously, because the filters that typically filter out infrared and ultraviolet are gone, or they're modified. So you're going to get that kind of pink haze over everything. You know, for paranormal investigating, these things are amazing. But what I'm trying to do, as you'll see in these examples, is get a little further range with a full spectrum as opposed to just the infrared cams, and it works. So what I have here, I do have the camera itself, which has a built-in LED that projects, and this additional full spectrum attachment that was purchased separately, as well as LED bank that I made, and these are all infrared. This is what I was using for paranormal investigations indoors, which lights up like crazy. But again, it's a low frequency light. The distance is not very far than it would be. Now this light over here is as you can probably see, this is an ultraviolet light flashlight. And I'll use this with all these lights here, and as you'll see in the example, it carries much further than the infrared. The application for that would, I guess if you're walking through the woods and you want to use that and you don't want to use regular light, that would work. But then again, if you come upon a cryptid, I mean, it could get right in your face before you even see it. So, I mean, these are good, and it can be expensive, but it's another option. Now, I'll show a sample of a standard high def cam walking through the woods with illumination, additional illumination. Now, the camera itself has a light, but what you want to do is you want to find some other lights, which I found on Amazon.com for about 20 bucks. Look for something like this. This is a heavy duty 3000 lumen flashlight. It comes with its own rechargeable battery, super bright. There's a few different modes on it, but it is super bright. And if you torch this thing up in the woods, it lights up everything like the sun. And here is it has triple, it's basically 3 of these. This is 1000 lumens right here. And this thing is really bright, and it also has a scope to where you can actually make it a single bright square. It looks like the shape of the chip, or you can pan it out, and this thing lights up like crazy. It'll light up the woods. So when you take these and you have a standard cam, at night you can catch everything within probably, oh my God, several hundred feet. I imagine if you're in the woods and you're walking down a game trail, it'll shoot down a game trail. You'll see, and I'll show you some of that footage as well. So that's kind of using a standard cam and a lot of bright lights. And I know a lot of times if you're out cryptid hunting and you got bright lights and you're walking through the woods, you're going to be scaring things off. So that's the downfall of that. The next one, dash cam. Dash cams are so important. One of the most important things you could buy right here is the dash cam. And the reason is, when we were driving through the LBL, we had the dash cam on all the time. Every time the car started and we were driving through all those roads, we had the dash cam on. Again, you can get these, I think I got this one at Home Depot for 25, 30 bucks. And it just mounts to the window, plugs into the USB cigarette lighter port, and there you go. Trail cam. This is important because this is your eyes in the woods. This is really important. I have several of these. This is the Moultrie A5. This is a really, really cool camera. It has a 5 megapixel resolution camera on there, 1.5 second trigger, 40-foot detection, 50-foot flash. Okay, you can take on a 32 gig SD card, you can get 24,000 plus photos, and they are 2560 by 1920 images, and they're clear, and they're nice. But I only use video. I don't want to take pictures of stuff. I want video. I want to see stuff moving. So what I do is I take, you can take up to like 3200 640 by 480, 30 frames per second, AVI format, 10-second video clips. I like to either set it on 10 or 30 seconds, depending on how long I'm leaving it out in the field. And what's really cool about this, they do have some other attachments. They have a battery box that you can get, which is awesome. I know guys that put these out for like 3 months at a time, and they'll set it on like 6. It'll have 6 picture exposure. Like if it'll detect something moving, it'll take 6 pictures, and that's kind of cool. But again, I'm all about motion. You want to see something walk past. You want to see it interacting with the environment. The LEDs on here, these are infrared. They're 850 nanometers long range LEDs. They work pretty damn well. Another thing, which I'll show with the examples of this, is when you're setting this up, don't put this on the ground. Don't put this 4 feet in the air. Don't put it where an animal can get to it. What I do is pack a small aluminum ladder, and I'll climb a tree or climb a tree, and I'll go up and actually attach this to the tree or to the branch, and go ahead and set it up that way. And I'll show you some examples of that as well. So that is a trail cam, and it's pretty awesome. It opens up, all your settings are in there. It takes 8 AA batteries, and what I'll do is I'll set these up for, go out there and set it up for a week or two, and then move it, or get new batteries for it or something. And then, that's your eyes in the woods when you can't be there. The next thing, audio recording, real easy. As a paranormal investigator, the best recorder I've ever used was this. This is an old Sony. It's a 32-bit software program with it, so you have to keep an old PC, like I keep an old XP machine, so I can actually pull the raw audio off here and process it on a newer machine. I use this with a pair of earmuff headphones, $20 Sennheisers, and I take and wrap this cord, and I'll walk through the woods, and you can hear more off this. Due to the age of it and the fact that the technology back then, it didn't filter out all the noise. You don't want all the noise filtered out. You want that noise in the raw footage.
So there's some things we want to do. We want to straighten things out historically. Did you just hear that?
Yeah, did you hear that?
What the fuck? What was that?
What was that?
It's really critical, especially as a paranormal investigator, catching ghost voices. But I like this. This works great for cryptid research as well. I also use the Sony AX412, which is a little bit higher end. It's a little bit nicer quality. It takes a micro SD. The reason why I got this one was to record my ghost box sessions. And the reason why I like this is because it has a manual noise cut filter on this. And like if I go into the woods and like if you go into LBL and the bugs are just overwhelming, you can hit the noise cut and it'll trim some of that extra noise so it doesn't get too cloudy and crazy. But then again, that is a Sony as well. And then the last one I have, the audio device I use, is a professional Alesis Palm Track 24-bit recorder. This thing's like for recording bands and stuff. It has 4 mics in it. It's pretty cool. You can set it up in the woods. Face it north or face it towards some object, and you can tell which direction it comes, what the sound is coming from, which is kind of useful, but I don't use it too much doing cryptid research, but still, it's an option. People have asked me about parabolic mics. I've used them, and I built them to try to pick up, I made a big dish to try to pick up lower frequency sounds better. It doesn't work. All I get is really high treble, and it's not very useful. And the dishes are super cumbersome. It's hard to put in your backpack, your tactical pack. You have to strap it on. It's one more big crazy thing. And if there's any tips, mainly the Sennheisers are great because they have like a 10-foot cable and it's super rubber. It's not like cheesy plastic, it breaks. You just plug that sucker in, put the cord around here and walk and point it in the direction, and there's a 10-foot cable. So what I'll do sometimes is put it on a selfie stick, stick it high in the air, and that works good too. It has longer range. That thing picks up like crazy. Deterrence. So when you're out there, and the thing is, if you're out cryptid hunting, you got to be careful of everything in the woods. Depends on what part of the country you're in, I guess. We don't really have bears around here. We got cougars and bobcats, but we don't have any bears per se. So what you want to do is be the biggest, ugliest, meanest, loudest thing in the forest, whether it's night or day. And at night, you want to get the super flashlights out. Get as many of these as you can. Like I said, these are 20-some bucks on Amazon. Get whatever works. I like this one because it's it's like 3,000 to 3,500 lumens, and it's 1 unit, so I can just pick it out and flash whatever it is. Which happened in Germantown. I did have the high def cam with me, and I picked out both of those lights. I put them in my hand, turned them on. It was like 4,500 lumens. Lit it up, had the high def camera, and whatever was there took off running the other way. So that was a perfect case right there for the the lights do work. I'm not sure what it was, but it took off. It didn't want none of us. Also, as a deterrent, what you want is some sort of bear spray, or in this case, this is, I know, Squatch Guard. This is actually Squatch Guard. It's supposed to be a little bit more powerful than bear spray, but I haven't had to use it, but I keep it on me all the time. I keep it in my vest. I'll get the link from the maker and I'll put it up on the site, put it up on the page here. That's something you probably would definitely want, especially if things get in too close proximity. At least you can spray the area, and when they come into that area, they're gonna, they'll back off and when we get close, or at least close enough to get some video or audio. It would be nice, but yeah, you don't want them too close to you. So you've got the bright lights, you've got Squatch Guard, bear spray, air horns. Go to your dollar store, get those little air horns that you use like at hockey games and football and whatever, and those things are super loud. So think about it though. What would you do if you hit that around a dog? Dog's gonna take off. So if you're talking about Dogman hunting, if this thing is a Canis lupus, you're gonna hit that air horn, it's not gonna like it. And also I found this thing called a super whistle. It's like almost 200 decibels. And it's a plastic whistle that you can put on a necklace around your neck, and if you needed to, you just blow that thing and drive them crazy. So again, when you're out there in the woods, you want to be the biggest, scariest, ugliest, smelliest thing to whatever's hunting you, whether it's a cougar or whatever. There are a couple of other devices that I didn't get to talk about that we don't have yet. Our team members have, but we don't have them yet. And one is a Flir Scout thermal imaging monocular or monoscope. And what's nice about it is it records photos and video, and there's like 5 modes on it. From one of the guys I heard, the battery lasts like 5 to 6 hours, which is pretty good. And we were in a car driving in this area of Germantown, and the gentleman using it was just looking out the window into the fields, and I got to see it, and we got to see all the deer in the fields. I mean, all the way back several hundred yards, man. Amazing. You could see them perfectly with the white, I think it was the white hot mode. So you could see all of them standing in the field. We were walking through the woods. You could see chipmunks and anything that had some heat to it, any little critter moving through the woods you could pick up. Super cool, but they are $599. They're very pricey, so super portable, really good to have. The thing I'm looking to get right now, my next piece, is going to be night vision binoculars. I did find ones from Solomark, the Solomark NV400B. They also have the NV100. I'm not sure, the 100 are like $149, and the 400 is about $400. It's 360 some, and the reviews on it are very, very good. You can take pictures, or you can shoot video footage with it, and I'll put some of that up on the screen. It's one of the best out there. So yeah, that's my next toy, because as I learned walking through the dark woods, fumbling with some of the cameras and the night vision, and you have battery issues, and it's a lot to deal with. It's kind of nice when you can just pick up some binoculars and check real quick, because if you start hearing things, you're going to want to see what's out there, and if you can see it before it gets to you, obviously that's going to be a win-win. So yeah, I think that's probably about it for all of the technology. If you have any questions, please feel free to shoot us an email, nadpreports@gmail.com. Put a message here on the YouTube channel, whatever works. All right, so be safe out there, and take it easy. We'll see you.